Hello everybody, this is Donnie with Pvgna.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we have another video for you. It is patch day, and this is gameplay update 7.13. So let's just get right into these patch notes. The first thing is that Aegis now has an alt tooltip that explains how to pronounce the item, and it is pronounced exactly how I just said it. Aegis. Ayyjis is what the tooltip says, so it's like A Lamau or Aegis, and that's how you pronounce it. So no Aegis, no Aegis, Aegis. Pronounce it right. All right. The next actual change is that Tier 1 Tower Team Bounty has been reduced from 120 to 100. Tier 2 Tower Team Bounty has been reduced from 200 to 120. That's a big difference. Tier 3 Team Bounty has been reduced from 200 to 140. Tier 4 Tower Team Bounty has been reduced from 200 to 160. Range Barracks Team Bounty has been reduced from 150 to 100, and the filler buildings in the base have been reduced from 125 to 75 gold each. So what this means is that there is a significant reduction in the amount of gold that you get from taking buildings. So basically what this means is that it's less beneficial for you to group up as 5 and just roll down a lane and take buildings. It's still good, obviously, to take buildings, but it's probably a indirect nerf to items like Helm of the Dominator, drums, heroes like Death Prophet, and obviously it slows down the acceleration of a hero like Terrorblade, who is used to taking buildings really early on in the game. Probably nerfs a hero like Visage and Drow a little bit as well, just because those heroes really benefit from those early tower gold bonuses, allowing them to accelerate their farm and kind of hit their early power spike before the rest of the other team is online. So just keep that in mind. We'll see how the pros react to this change. Maybe we'll see slightly more farm-oriented split pushy heroes that are able to stretch the map and just take creeps. But it's hard to say until we actually see some games played on this patch. But just keep that in mind that the snowbally 5-manning style is probably not as good as it used to be because of these building changes. This is interesting because it actually changes how the game flows. Previously, if you got a lead and you pushed a couple lanes of buildings, even if you were to just quickly push one lane all the way in and take racks, your team would get this massive influx of gold, and it would make it a really big advantage to have done that. So in some senses, this kind of nerfs snowballing, but it also nerfs the comeback mechanic if you were to split push and take buildings. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. I kind of like it in that it's not so snowbally, but I also don't like the fact that it hurts the comebacking team who's trying to split push and take buildings. So we'll kind of have to see how this plays out, but just generally speaking, buildings are much less important than they were before. They're still obviously very important because that's how you win the game, is taking buildings, but do know that you're not going to get like 2 massive items if you take a lane of racks, whereas you used to just kind of suddenly have this huge lead from, cracking the enemy's base. The next change is that range creep average gold bounty has been reduced by 3, so the range creep is getting less and less important in the wave. Still slightly better than the melee creeps, but it is definitely being reduced to the point where it's more even, and you don't necessarily have to sacrifice everything for the range creep, but you should still try to secure it. The glyph duration has been increased by 1 second. Melee barracks HP has been increased by 300 from 1500 to 1800. Shrines HP has been increased by 250 from 1500 to 1750. And Shrines now have a 5 HP regen. So it really looks to me like Valve is trying to slow down the game a little bit. If you've noticed in pro games, and probably even in some of your pubs, the games feel like they're happening really fast. And once a team gets a lead, it's very easy to kind of just end the game. And so having longer glyph duration means it's harder to push high ground or, take a tower if you're defending it with glyph. Melee barracks HP increase is pretty significant, especially because of the huge armor that the barracks have. The shrines being able to regen is actually a really big change, because you used to be able to just kind of chip damage them, especially like with Nature's Prophet Treants or Lycan Wolves. You could just keep sending these spawns or illusions to kill the shrines for little or zero risk. And now it's not going to be as easy to do that because they have more health and they actually regen. So you have to, stick on the building and actually kill it. So I like the shrine change because I felt like once the shrines were exposed, they were just so easy to take. And those shrines are so important to the game and being able to control the map that having them stay alive a little bit longer is kind of nice. They have rescaled the level 12 to 25 respawn time curve to be slightly less early and the same later on. So you can see the details here. Basically, you will respawn a little bit faster up until it looks like level 20. And then, yeah, up until level 20, you'll respawn slightly faster. And then from level 20 to 25, you'll be respawning about the same, a little bit longer actually, up until the final level. So here's the biggest change of this patch, it looks like. Removed hero class specific perks. The bonuses now affect all classes. Removed status resistance as a strength-based attribute bonus. Thank God. Status resistance was one of the worst additions to the game in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion, especially for a hero like Tiny. It just made it so annoying to deal with. I will have to check. I'll check after I finish reading this whether Tiny still gets status resistance from his ultimate. But now we won't have quite as much weird calculations to do with durations of stuns and hexes and stuff like that, because status resistance is no longer part of every strength hero. Rebalance strength, int, and agi bonuses below. They still provide +1 bonus damage to the primary attribute holder. So, you know, 1 agi is still 1 damage as well for an agility hero. Primary attributes now provide +25% more benefit to the bonus it provides. So let's look at that. The old strength was, 1 strength was 20 health, 0.71 HP regen, 0.15% status resistance, and the new strength is now 18 health, plus 0.55% HP regen, and plus 0.08 magic resistance. Now, if you're a strength hero, you get an additional plus 25% to each one of these, so that the 1 strength equals 22.5 health for strength heroes as opposed to 18 for everybody else. Plus 25% for strength heroes on the HP regen means that 1 strength equals plus 0.68% HP regen, and magic resistance for strength heroes is plus 0.1% per strength. So I actually really like this magic resistance change. I think that it was kind of weird that int heroes would get magic resistance from intelligence, but now with status resistance being removed as a strength benefit, a strength hero now gets magic resistance just by being tanky. So that's kind of cool. I like that a lot because a lot of strength heroes tend to, you know, be those frontliners that are tanky a lot of spells, and this just makes them innately better against magic casters. Let's look at the old intelligence. We've got 12 mana, 2% mana regen, 0.07% spell amp, and plus 0.15 magic resistance, and this has been changed. The new intelligence is 12 mana with 15 mana per int for intelligence heroes with the plus 25% bonus. Mana regen is 1.8% mana regen per intelligence with plus 25% bonus for int heroes, taking to 2.25. Spell amp is the kind of like the perk, I guess, for intelligence heroes, where they get plus 0.087 as opposed to plus 0.07 spell amp per int. And yeah, I think that, I don't know, I like this change, just generally speaking. I think that status resistance was bad. I'm glad that they changed it. Oh, and the agi is now plus 0.17 armor, or the old agi was plus 0.17 armor, 1 attack speed, and 0.06 movement speed. New agi is plus 1.6 armor, with the agi heroes getting plus 0.2 per agi. 1 attack speed per agi, and for agility heroes 1.25, movement speed 0.05, and with agi heroes being 0.062. So basically we can see that agi heroes are going to get slightly more move speed than everybody else, but now everybody benefits from the move speed bonuses, so that's really nice. The spell amp, the int heroes get slightly more than they were before. Everybody else gets the same, but they do get the spell amp, which is nice. So you can actually itemize a hero that has really good spells, like let's say Underlord or What other strength heroes? I guess Centaur, for example, does a ton of magic damage. And if you had like a Hex and a Shiva's Guard or something like that, you would do a lot more damage with your spells, which is kind of cool. So I like these changes. I think this is a really good way of handling these perks. I definitely think it makes the game a little bit more complicated, which, you know, it's just the Dota way of doing things, but what can you do? I prefer these changes over status resistance, and actually that's the end of the patch. So, you know, that's that. Let's go ahead and look at Tiny real quick just to see. It does look like Tiny still gets status resistance, so he's the only hero in the game, I believe, that has status resistance. So just keep that in mind. He's still a really bad Doom target, still a really bad, you know, just spell target in general. So it's just really good to know that there's only one hero with status resistance now, and you don't have to factor it into all of your combos and stuff like that for everybody else. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Short patch, but a really impactful patch. Let me know in the comment section below how you think it's going to affect your games, whether you like the patch or not. And we will see you next time once we've played a couple of games and figured out if there's anything that we're missing in the patch notes. Good luck, have fun, and go win some MMR.